Hi, dear After Ellen viewers, and welcome to the newest vlogisode of Dana Does It with Glee. Like any good lesbian, I am still processing Diva. I don't know about you, but what an intense episode. So much happened. There's so many feels from not only me, but from you, the viewers of Glee and fans of Glee. You know what? We have so much to cover. I didn't even write a song for this episode because I need to talk it out, people. I need to talk it out. This episode, I would say, probably the most important episode we've had all season. Major, huge developments in the Britannia relationship, the Bram relationship, Santana's future. We're going to talk about all of that, but I'm going to save that for a little later because there were some other really, really weird and also excellent parts of this episode that I want to hit first. So from New York, we get Kurt giving us his absolute best Meredith Grey voiceover, letting us know how increasingly insufferable Rachel Berry has become. There she is, probably wearing lots and lots of scarves indoors and taking vocal rests, unnecessary vocal rests, and drinking lots of tea and just, being completely annoying. I know that kind of girl. I know that kind of girl very well. Because I used to be that kind of girl. It turns out Rachel has pushed Kurt just a little too far. And he challenges her to something called Midnight Madness, which at any other college would probably be some sort of like fraternity sponsored paintball event. But no, not at NIADA. At NIADA, it's a vocal death match. Okay, so technically it's not a death match per se, but that would be kind of interesting though, wouldn't it, to see Rachel and Kurt go up against each other in some sort of vocal Hunger Games? I have to admit, when Brody described it as a blood sport, I side-eyed so hard that I sprained them. So, as it is customary in the land of Glee, when Rachel gets a little too big for her britches, something's gotta come along and knock her down a few pegs. Of course, in true Rachel fashion, she's devastated. Absolutely devastated. I know I don't talk much about Will and Emma, mainly because they don't really give me much to talk about, but I have to say, Jayma Mays blew this out of the park on this episode. She really wins all the awards in my book. It was really powerful, her breakdown. And I gotta give it to the writers here, we actually do see some major continuity. We get to see Emma dealing with an incredibly stressful situation, which exacerbates her OCD and really causes her to have, I guess, what you would call a breakdown in front of Finn. Oh yeah, Finn. Yeah, about that. That part where you kissed Miss Pillsbury? Maybe there's something primal inside Finn Hudson that just kind of says, like, girl, cry, must, kiss. Oh, speaking of things that are completely inappropriate, is it just me? Or has Tina gone and lost her full mind? Let me just tell you, Tina. Friends don't straddle friends and apply soothing balms to friends' naked chests while crying. Let's talk about Santana and Brittany and the very, very major way that the writers of Glee decided to communicate directly with the lesbian fandom, this time with a much, much better outcome. Now, everyone has their own really specific and important feelings about how this was all handled, but these are my personal thoughts on this. I don't necessarily think that this was some sort of an apology for the way they handled the whole lesbian blogger comment situation a few episodes back that really, set the fandom on fire and offended and upset a lot of people. What it was, however, was a very, very large Santana-shaped olive branch that was extended to the lesbian fandom. And I appreciate that. It was their way of saying, we get it. We get you. And we're going to get more of you, and you're going to get more of the stories that you want. And it may not happen exactly the way you want it to, but we're going to give you something worthy of this show and of these characters and of your love as fans. Santana said AfterEllen, and it was awesome. And it was exciting. And I may have screamed. And I'm still smiling. Because it means so much more than just talking about a really fantastic website. Because AfterEllen isn't just made up of the people that write for AfterEllen or contribute to AfterEllen. The AfterEllen is all of us. It's you, and it's me, and it's the lesbian and bisexual and transgendered fans of this world. Were they a little late to the party? Yeah. Do I appreciate the effort? Yeah. Does that mean that we sweep everything under the rug that Glee has done that we haven't been crazy about or liked or been offended by? No, it's not a pass, but it's a way of moving forward. And as an audience, part of our moving forward is being willing to let go of Brittany and Santana being Britannia right now. Santana is scared of the unknown. She's scared of failing. She's scared of not being understood and not being loved. And she is grasping onto the thing. The only thing that she knows in this world is true and right, and that is her love for Brittany. Brittany knows that this isn't working, and it's not going to work. Because in order for Santana to spread her wings, she's got to be free to do it completely. And right now, she has one foot in her new life and one foot back in Lima. I thought the scene was beautiful, and it was real, and there was a lot of pain in both of their eyes because it's not about not loving each other. It's never been about not loving each other. Just sometimes loving each other means letting each other go. So I was thrilled personally to see such a positive reaction on Twitter about Glee during the episode and after, which has been absent for such a long time. And so I asked you, after this, have you decided to stick with Glee, or are you going to give it another chance? What are your thoughts? And these are some of my favorite reactions. So we all agreed that Glee is 900% better when all the new kid storylines are replaced by Santana Lopez, right? Even with the craziness this episode brought, it was so well written and acted. Kudos to the whole crew. Sticking with Glee, I liked it before Britannia, and I will like it after. It's still the highlight of my life, to be honest. I was never going to leave, but I feel better about staying now that Santana is getting some respect. I'm sticking with Glee. This was one of my favorite episodes. I'm sad that Britannia are broken up, but they did it the right way. I reckon my mental anguish levels would decrease from nuclear to volcanic if I left Glee, but I'm a glutton for punishment, so... Just finished it, and I can't stop grinning. And then to end, of course, AfterEllen's own, the brilliant Heather Hogan, who I like to think of as kind of the ambassador to all lesbian entertainment. This is her plan. Dig a grave tonight. Bury myself alive after next week's Quintana kiss. Go out on top. The musical numbers kick off with Diva by, of course, Beyonce. And I love when they do these fantasy dream sequence numbers, just, when they really nail them and they get them really over the top and ridiculous, and that is exactly how Diva went. Vocally, it's not the strongest number in the world, but I don't think that was meant to be its selling point anyway. Don't Stop Me Now by Queen and sung by Blaine. This is truly an incredibly difficult song to sing for a man. I've seen many try and many fail, and Darren Criss did a fantastic job. The costume selection, amazing. Very Mr. Junior Leather, Ohio. Nutbush City Limits by Tina Turner, and completely owned by Santana. This is one of the things that I love about Naya Rivera so much. Naya Rivera has a really unique ability to be able to take a very classic, very specific number and turn it around and make it very much her own. It really had that Tina feel to it, but it was all Santana. Also, that I thought it was amazing that Santana bribed Elaine to be her girlfriend with scratch-off tickets and an Ani DeFranco t-shirt, because that is exactly what I asked for Christmas. And I did not get, by the way. Make No Mistake, She's Mine, originally sung by Kim Carnes and Barbra Streisand. It was so raw and so beautifully acted by both Court Overstreet and Naya Rivera. And I really just felt my heart just squeezing during it because I felt for both those characters. Sam really, really does have feelings for Brittany and is probably quite rightfully terrified that Santana's just going to swoop in and things are going to go back to the way they were. And as I mentioned before, Santana is just so scared of what lies ahead that she's holding on, and she thinks this is her last chance at finding some sort of happy life for herself, um, rather than taking the next step into the unknown. Bring Him Home from the musical Les Mis, and sung by both Rachel Berry and Kurt Hummel. But I too agree with the Midnight Madness results, and I give it to Kurt Hummel with the ascot for the win. Both of them did absolutely brilliant jobs with this number. The thing is, Chris Colfer has this really beautiful, subtle way of conveying really, really deep, intense emotion in song. Leah is more of a performer for performing's sake. Amazing, amazing, but she occasionally lacks the subtlety that is needed to really, truly pack that real emotional wallop with the song. Hung Up by Madonna and performed by Tina. Well, we did get to see the return of the short-haired blonde Cheerio, which always makes me happy. I hope she watches this vlog and knows that I appreciate her art. This song is a bit of a throwaway song in general, and dancing is not exactly Jenna's strongest suit. Great singer, but slightly disconnected from her body, and it felt a little awkward watching it, where her face was doing one thing and her body was doing something else. It's the face that I recognize very well because I myself am not the strongest dancer, and that is a face I have often shown when I'm absolutely terrified while I'm singing and dancing. And finally, Girl on Fire by Alicia Keys and sung by Santana. Just gave me the chills. I was just basically one giant goosebump from watching the recognition wash over Santana as she knew the decision that she needed to make, walking through the halls of McKinley, basically saying goodbye to her old life and walking up those subway stairs. I wish you could see, I legitimately have goosebumps right now. Amazing, beautifully sung. It's a really high number, and Naya Rivera has no trouble just blasting and walking into Rachel and Kurt's apartment, because everyone lives there now. Knocks on the door just like she owns the place. But did anyone else notice she had the tiniest suitcase with her? It was this itty bitty tiny suitcase, and if I know Santana at all, it could have only fit maybe half of her lip gloss collection. But it was a new beginning, and it made me utterly ecstatic. So that is it for this week. But I am beyond excited for next week's episode because we get to experience the phenomenon known as Quintana. Just so you dear viewers know, I will actually be traveling when I normally film the vlog. So I will be doing a very abridged version of Dana Does It with Glee, but I've got to be able to talk to you about Quintana, so we will have something, even if I'm filming it from the finest rest stops along New Jersey and whatnot. So anyway, thank you so much for tuning in, and until next time on Dana Does It with Glee.